Hi everyone, welcome to today's strategic learning experience, Building AI That Works, in collaboration with our sponsor Change 3 and our solutions partners HBAR, DSS, and Fortitude. I'm Ella Fernandez, Head of Connections at BTechly. Before we dive right in, a few housekeeping reminders. Please note participation in the live Q&A is available only to registered attendees. So if you're watching via live stream or another channel, you must register to access the Q&A. You can register now by scanning the QR code on your screen or by visiting btechlead.com, selecting today's session and entering your business email address. Once you registered, you'll receive a calendar invite with a link to access the Q&A, which is not included in the live stream. Feel free to post your questions or comments anytime. We'll highlight a few during the session to keep things lively. Please keep the chat respectful and on topic. If you need to leave early, no problem. A replay will be provided. You'll also have the option to book a meet and greet with our expert, and our team will follow up with you to collect your feedback, complete your voice verification, and help you set up a meet and greet if you want one. And of course, please like, subscribe, and follow both BTechly and Change 3. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the CEO of Change 3, today's sponsor, Nico Bernie Miller.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nico Bernie Miller, the CEO of Change 3. Thank you so much for joining us. I have got an all-star panel of experts that are joining me to talk about this very important topic at a very important moment. So I'm sure you see it all over. You're surrounded by posts and comments and articles and news stories about AI this and AI that. And you see so many people having a lot of conversation about how AI will change the world, how it will affect humans, how humans should lead, how AI will lead. And there might be a lot of questions that you have. So today's discussion is the beginning of a conversation over a series of events that we're going to have with this team of experts as well as others to help you gain some insight and gain a foothold of how you're going to handle AI. So what's going on in this moment right now? Well, look, just about every big company has done something with AI already. Has it worked well? Has it not worked well is a big question. And according to MIT's study at the end of last year, most of it hasn't worked well in terms of pilot to scalability. So that's something we're going to talk about. There are probably a lot of reasons why that's the case. But when you are in a smaller company, then you might not have even got onto the AI train yet, per se, right? Maybe you're playing around with ChatGPT or Microsoft 365 Copilot or something like that. But in terms of coming up with like real strategy to redesign and reimagine how you get work done and to do so in a very strategic, very successful manner that'll help your company make more money or save more money or what have you. I think we're all probably still figuring that out. And so that's what we're hoping to talk about. And I'm going to turn it over to a couple of really incredible gentlemen who are on this panel today. Stefan Fitzpatrick and Adam Dean from HBAR Solutions. They also happen to be one of our strategic partners that deliver AI solutions to businesses of all sizes, but especially small ones. Hi, Adam. Hi,
Hey,
Stefan.
hey, Nico. So,
Hi.
re- really appreciate the intro, Nico. Hey, everybody. My name's Adam Dean. I'm president and CRO of HBAR Solutions. Our whole goal is to help customers navigate technology transitions. And right now in the market, no one can argue that the biggest one isn't AI at the moment. And so, really excited to talk with you and understand, some ideas on how you want to bring in AI in your company. Talk about how it fits within your culture, and then see how we can best support you. And then I'm also joined by our chief strategist, AI strategist, Stephen Fitzpatrick. So, Stephen, you want to do a quick intro? Oh, might be having a little bit of a technical difficulties. I guess when we get that kind of straightened out, we'll introduce him as soon as that's fixed. I'd like to hand it over to DJ if unless Stephen's got it fixed now.
I think it
There we
might be
go.
fixed. but I have no idea what you just said. I'm sorry.
All good, all good. I was just introducing you as our AI strategist, and so I want to say a little bit about yourself, and then we can pass it to DJ.
Absolutely, yeah, I appreciate that. So I'm Stephen Fitzpatrick. I'm a software engineer of 15 years. Traditionally, a lot of data engineering, data integration. A lot of it these days is working with AI and integrating it into the business, making it actually useful. But yeah, I'm part of HBAR, and I'm here to help companies basically get onboarded onto AI in the cloud.
Awesome, thanks. Well, I guess we'll hand it over to DJ now.
Great. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it, man. Hey, I'm DJ Singley. I'm from Mapsys. Mapsys is a 40-plus-year-old technology partner headquartered out of Columbus, Ohio, serving the entirety of the United States. We do cloud and AI. That's one of our base businesses here. But we have another 4 pillars of our business that I just wanted to mention as well. Infrastructure optimization, which is near and dear to my heart. Think hardware and software sales as well as services. Managed services, where we can completely take over all management of all of your infrastructure if you need to. We have a 55-man application development team, all based here in the United States. So we can do anything from RPG, COBOL, all the way to your .NET and mobile and new stuff like AI, right? And then lastly, we have an IT staffing and recruiting arm. So we're able to help you with all your short-term and long-term staffing needs. So I'm excited to be here today to talk to you all about AI. I am the chief architect and executive director at Mapsys. So excited to be here. I'm going to give it over now to John.
Hi, everyone. I'm Colonel John Boggs. I'm United States Marine Corps retired. And guess what? I am not an AI expert. I am a leadership expert. That's what I do. I work with senior leaders, myself, my team at Fortitude. We work with people who are really good at what they do. That's the secret sauce, is being good at what you do. We work with people who are good, and we make them just a little bit better. And that usually makes all the difference in the world. So why in the heck am I here? I'm here because a lot of people in technology, a lot of people use a technology or misuse a technology, or worse yet, don't use it at all. And AI is extremely important. You can stick your head in the sand if you want, and you just get run over by a train. I come from an environment where failure is more than inconvenient. Failure can be catastrophic. So if you understand that, and you're in business, and you should understand that, here's one quick thing to know. Technology is changing all the time. It moves like this. It's like that. But we don't bring our leadership up. Our leadership is always lagging behind the technology. It's always lagging behind. How big that gap is, that's up to you. But that's the gap. That gap there is where failure happens. That's where things go completely wrong. So I'm here to talk about how leaders use AI. Okay, well, thank you very much. And that's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for those introductions, guys. And I feel like this is going to be an exciting discussion. So let's keep the ball rolling.
Yep.
Now let's talk about let's start our chat. I have a first question for you guys. What leads to the trend where so many AI initiatives look successful in pilots, but fail to create sustained momentum in the business? DJ, would you like to kick us off with that?
Yeah, I would love to. I don't know which story to start off with, so I'm gonna pick up where John sort of left off with the leadership role. I think it's probably one of the most important parts in business. I've seen small businesses and large businesses fail at AI, and I've also helped small businesses and large businesses be very successful with it. So I think the one overarching idea you're going to hear from me throughout this webinar today is that you must, as a leader, ROI your AI project, or it will go nowhere. But I need to clarify that a bit, right? Not only do you need to ROI, you need to have buy-in from the rest of the leaders in your organization. If they don't understand your ROI or agree with it, again, it will go nowhere. And then finally, whoever signs the checks, you better call them up and say, hey, listen, I got some good ideas and I need some funding for it, or else again, it's going to go nowhere. And again, I will talk to you more about the ROI and the executive approval throughout this this webinar. So, but there's a lot of things we can talk about here. I think so. Maybe to kick it off here, and then maybe Adam has some insights here too. I feel like the biggest thing that we run into at Mapsys here when we talk to customers is the idea of analysis paralysis. I find lots of organizations
Yes.
saying, "Hey, I want to do AI, but I don't know what to do. What technology should I use? What model should I use? I hear this Grok thing is cool. I hear this Chat GPT thing is cool. I hear Copilot's cool. IBM has a great product. Which one should I use?" And I think that's a trap for you. You don't want to get stuck in the technology. Thinking about the technology is probably the wrong path. You want to get stuck or train your efforts on the outcome of what you're doing, right? So, what am I trying to solve? Who cares about the technology? Put the technology aside for one point. What am I trying to do? What is the business outcome here? And for that, in that case, I'd say that, you know, business leaders are probably the right place to champion AI solutions. I know Nico's
Yeah.
going to say, but didn't you just say there, a couple hours ago that wasn't the case all the time? Okay, so there's an asterisk sometimes, right? But business leaders are a great place to start. I think that a lot of times when an AI technologist starts the leadership of an AI project, potentially it could get lost, right? There's too much inference or emphasis rather on what technologies to use. I think that's a big pitfall.
Yeah.
Spend more time with the outcome of what you're trying to do than the technologies that it's built with. I think it's still very early in the AI cycle here,
Yeah.
potentially. And who cares what technologies it is? I have my favorite technologies. I know Adam has his favorite technologies. Stefan, for sure,
Uh-huh.
have their favorite technologies. Um, but there could be a room for several different, if not multiple um, technology
Interesting.
stacks
Ooh,
deployed, depending on what the outcome is, and again, if your idea ROIs.
I
So,
Yeah.
love it. Adam,
Adam,
what do you
Stefan,
think?
what do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're absolutely spot on with that. I think you also have to understand where AI is going to fit in your business model. In the past, when you look at adopting new software, you're kind of looking at it from a point in the organization. But with the way AI is changing and the way it can be so many different things, like you're saying, which tool do I use for what outcome? Is extremely important. So, are you using AI to be your technology advantage in the market to be able to, move somewhere faster, or are you using AI to be some kind of productivity tool for your
Mm-hmm.
employees to be able to save time and money? You really have to think about where it fits in your business model, and then once you have that from an executive perspective, you have to understand that the people that you're intending the AI for are actually going to use it and adopt it, or else it becomes really expensive shelfware.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, Adam. It's interesting. I had a customer of ours that we were working with recently, and the idea was to do an agentic AI tool in their enterprise, right? And the one of the stumbling blocks is just this exhaustion of new tools that come into the enterprise, and now I have to go to some new web page and sign in. Is
Oh
there a single sign-on? How do I
oh
use
my
this?
gosh. Hmm.
Well, there's lots of the answers for you out there, right? One of our favorite things to do is to expose an AI agent via Teams,
Hmm.
because everybody already has Teams and they already
Exactly.
know how to use Teams. So
Hmm.
it's very easy for them to do
Yeah.
that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just
That's
love that
awesome.
idea. So it really helps
Yeah.
customers out a lot. Stefan, what do you think?
Hmm.
No, I think that's spot on. I love the idea of meeting customers where they are. We've probably seen on the headlines, mention of Claudebot or OpenClaw or whatever they're calling it these days. Um, but for me, it's also interesting to note how much of the things that relate to the success of AI within the business, as you kind of alluded to, really have nothing to do with the technology, right? And I think you're going to see that over and over again. It's not just, yes, there are new capabilities. It's a new technology, but at the same time, aligning stakeholders, making sure that you know what success looks like, and uh, you know, another thing that's kind of interesting to what we were talking about a minute ago is that MIT study that showed a lot of these pilots didn't actually provide a return on investment found that there had been gains within the business from AI, but it was from kind of the bottom up, right? So I think
Hmm.
that that's important to keep in mind as well.
Yeah. So I'll lead into this. I'm the analytical economist in the crew here, and like John, I'm not a technologist at all, but everything that you guys said, I hear it. And the thing that I try to work with my clients on as they build strategy is cognitive overload, right? So right now, I think DJ, you and I were talking about this, the whole FUD effect, right?
Hmm.
Fear. Well, what is you, right? Uncertainty and doubt, right? Fear,
Correct.
uncertainty, and doubt, right?
Yep,
People are
yep.
like, and I told you the story of how we're all out there watching media. We're being surrounded by it constantly, and so I saw a little reel of a doctor that was like, I spent 20 years of my career learning how to read an X-ray. And I look at this X-ray and I see that this person has pneumonia. And he said, and now my company's rolled out AI, and the AI will show you that this person has pneumonia in 3 seconds. And so the guy was like, I'm going to go work at McDonald's, which I think is not helpful. And so for everyone who's watching and who will watch the replays, it's like, please, sweetheart, don't take that approach, because we as humans have the agency. We lead this process, and absolutely AI capabilities are things that we can't do. But you know what I also can't do? I can't take out a spleen, right? And that doesn't mean that I need to go, change my career, and what's cool about it is like when you pair yourself up with superhuman, it's like we all could become Iron Man, so to speak. Like for real, right?
Yeah.
Like isn't that one of the first AI tools, like Jasper.ai was actually Jarvis.ai, and then they got sued. But the whole
Oh, was
idea
it?
of is, hey, we're all
Oh, nice.
Tony Stark, right?
Yeah.
We should make a t-shirt, guys, right? We're all Tony Stark,
Mhm.
because now we actually have access to tools that are as sophisticated, maybe not the the screen displays, but as tools as sophisticated as, Jarvis, how Tony Stark is talking to this really smart tool that accesses all this information. Well, guys, that's us right now.
Yeah, we're
And
Yeah,
we're getting
and
so,
I think it's a
right,
good distinction there too, is that Jarvis isn't replacing Tony Stark.
not at
So
all.
it's enhancing.
Jarvis would be nothing without Tony Stark, right?
Exactly. Just like
Yep.
AI needs people and people need AI. AI is just a tool to really help you
Correct.
be the super version of you. So,
I love it. Absolutely. So, John, what are your thoughts on that? So many initiatives look great, but then they fail or don't give the results that were needed. All these gentlemen have said, hey, you got to have
Well,
leadership buy-in.
I think everyone is exactly spot on. And if I could just bring it all together here, um,
Please.
yes, AI, as Stephen alluded to, I believe the studies are pointing to like 95% of the AI projects have little to no value. In the world I live in, that means it failed. Okay.
Hmm.
Failure is not necessarily a bad thing if you learn from it. Um, the the realities here is you've got to use whichever tool you're using, that's fine. But what is it that's causing the no value? Because you don't know what the hell you're trying to get out of it. What's the ROI? I think Adam was talking about that. So if you're a business leader, you're the CEO. Come on, guys, and gals. What do you want out of it? And please don't just say I need a smaller workforce. Oh my God, my head explodes every time I hear that. Um, um, no, AI. Think of AI as augmenting, as making your smart people smarter, as making. If you're not teaching your workforce how to work with AI to do what they do better, faster, smarter, more efficiently, getting ahead. I mean, why the hell are you going to fire them? What? Please, not using your brain. Um, get smart, get ahead of your competition, or you too will be left behind. You'll be part of that catastrophic failure. But that's AI. It's what the hell is it you want out of it? Make sure you're getting it. And oh, by the way, someone has to own CEOs. I'm talking CEO talk now. Um, End to end. Someone needs to own the process end to end. End to end. You can't have, well, I pass it off to Johnny here. Okay, it went to DJ there. Who's got the oversight end to
Hmm.
end?
Yeah.
Now, don't tell me you don't do this. Yes, you do. I talk to all of you all the time. You tell me things. And no, someone must own this end to end.
Very good.
I love it, John.
Gentlemen, yeah,
I
please.
have a, if I could, I have a quick example of that. Nico and I were talking about this earlier today. John, I think you'll like this one, right? I just got done telling you guys that potentially the worst place to champion AI is from the technology stack and up.
IT.
Now, with
Yes.
that said, I know there's a lot of technologists just like all of us on the phone today, and they're probably like, "Well, I want to own it." Well, I feel like I had a great story recently, a great success with a customer. They had a business leader team up with a technology leader to then
Mhm.
both champion AI throughout their enterprise. And just watching them do this was extraordinary. You had the business acumen of the business leader talking to all the different stakeholders, which is really important, and the technology leader knowing and understanding what they can do, both on premise and in the cloud, and with their trusted technology partner, which was Mapsys. So wonderful synergies there, worked really, really well. But they owned it, John, and I mean, it was great. It was like textbook. I couldn't believe how well it has done for this company. So.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm going to challenge you a little bit and let's roll back a bit
Mm.
because, we've started off with, okay, own the process end to end. Check. Got that, right? And DJ said, you've got to have an outcome oriented approach, right? An ROI. Adam said, hey, figure out what your value proposition is. Are you trying to be more competitive? Are you trying to save money? Are you trying to do more, right? Steven says, hey, come at this with a great vision. But what about all those people out there that are like, I still don't know, right? Like, I got all that. That all makes great sense. Yes, 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 I will do all of it, but I don't know what to do. So here's what I would propose because, right, I'm the strategist. So my whole proposal is this is a moment to take a breath and reimagine what you're doing. Yes, you can do it faster. You could do it for cheaper. You can have different people do things, do more things, right? All those things are great and they are all boxes to check. But is this actually a moment to completely reimagine what you're doing? And if we go back to that example I gave with the doctor, no, you don't need to go work at McDonald's, sir.
Mhm.
Now you can spend your time doing other things so that you can transform how you provide your services, in this case, care to sick people, right? Or even think about how you help people avoid being sick, right? It's an opportunity for us to transition and be intelligent about how we work. I like to say strategic, radically strategic about how we work. So, guys, what do you think? Like, can we shed some what's the mind process, right? What's that mental process that everyone who's listening and who will listen in the future, like, what should they be thinking? Especially those of us got a little bit of gray hair. We're the ones that are like, I'm not quite sure what to think of this stuff, and it's going so fast, right? It's like last week they just had training wheels on, and now they're taking over the world. Like, what the heck? And so it's like, how do you keep your brain to keep up? Like, where do you start, and then how do you go fast enough? So, what do you guys think about that?
I think that's a good question. I know we talked about cognitive load of the different tools and things like that. If you put it in general, what AI can do is AI can help you reduce that cognitive load. Like,
Yeah,
if you want to start with something simple, like what are the things that put the gray hairs on our head? That
for sure.
we can think about it like look at it as simple as Excel, right? I
Yeah,
don't have to do addition, subtraction, multiplication anymore. I just throw it on the table and let it do its thing, and I write a script for it.
yeah,
Take a look at AI and figure out how you can add those little things either into the business or into your life for those little tweaks. But if you want to, step back as like a CEO hat, look at it as what can I take off my team that we can
I
make
love
them
it.
better and smarter to go learn that new skill set and make those changes and be that new
Hmm.
version of them.
I love that. I love
I
that.
think
Stefan, what do you think?
one thing that and I think John will appreciate that, this having a bias towards action at the organizational level. So, for example, like Shopify, they've actually provided all of these coding tools like Cursor and others to their entire company. And they've said, instead of saying from the top down, we're going to have like an AI initiative and we're going to like structure it this way, and we're going to set up this set of teams. We're just going to give everyone tools, and we're going to basically evangelize a certain way of working within the entire organization. They've found people that are not even software people building software and finding ways to make the business more efficient, again from that
Interesting.
bottom up perspective.
Very interesting. What do you think about that, DJ?
Yeah, I'm going to come from kind of an actionable approach, I think, at this time, right? So, as a consultative seller, right, I feel the best way to attach any or attack any AI opportunity is through a very defined process. The first part is that yes, you have executive sponsorship, you have leadership sponsorship, you want to do it. Okay, that's great, perfect. Now, what do we do? Well, may I suggest to you something called a design thinking session, where we come in and
Interesting.
we talk to architects such as myself and Adam and Stefan, and we sit in a room with all the stakeholders that may have a good idea, and we say, what are we trying to do? What would be interesting and useful for the company? All the while keeping that ROI thing in the back of our heads. We've got to do it. It's right back there. We got to think about it. If we're not thinking ROI, we'll never get to the next stage. Typically, after design thinking stage, the business wants to know if this is going to work or not. Well, that's great. We can do a proof of concept or a minimally viable product, and we can build that out for a customer and show them that this will actually work. And typically, at that point, showcasing it to the execs live and all the stakeholders live after we've done a build out is a pretty wonderful thing. Listen, guys, folks, it works or it doesn't. And there is no two ways about it. Now, is it a complete product? No, but it just shows you what is possible, the art of the possible in your enterprise, to firmly plant that flag for more AI opportunities in the future.
Yeah. So I'm gonna challenge you. Okay, I'm gonna challenge you.
Yeah.
So what you just described sounds amazing. But what if you're a little tiny business? What if you got like, 20 people and you make $4 or $5 million a year in revenue? Like, can you have that same kind of a discipline, a design thinking phase? You bring in consultants like Adam and Stefan, and probably not you, DJ, but maybe, right? And then, and you bring in some consultants and they give you some ideas. Like, will that same discipline work for a really small company, or is there a different approach for them? So I'll start with DJ because you started it, but then I'm gonna pass it over to you, Adam.
I'm getting it now. I think I know what Stefan's going to say, and I think I know what Adam's going to say too. And so when I do a proof of concept, typically it's much longer term. It takes a long time to gather the data, make a data lake, and all these different things. I don't want to go into all the technology that we could use, but it's typically a longer process. However, with that said, for smaller companies, I think a mini POC that spans hours to a couple of days is probably certainly doable by businesses such as myself and Adam and Stefan. So that's my answer. Gentlemen, what do you think? What do you do for customers?
Yeah, I actually agree. I think the process is going to be generally the same, but like you were saying, DJ, it just won't be at the same scale. So the other cool thing is when you are working with smaller businesses, you can do them faster. Like you don't have as many levels of integration, for example, like you were bringing up data lakes and stuff like that. So it's more of an intimate, much more quicker engagement processes. What I would say.
Love it.
What about you, Stefan?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of ways to tackle this. I completely agree with what everyone is saying, and certainly, like, it's not a one size fits all, right? I think for smaller companies, or smaller teams, also depending on the technical level of the team and what their stack is, taking some time to take all of that into account and come up with a more tailored solution that makes sense, I think is important. And I think we're also going to get to this later on in the talk, but there's a lot of low-hanging fruit before you even get to like the AI portion. It's like, look, if you don't even have some basic I don't want to even go so far as a data lake, but if you don't understand your numbers, if you don't understand how you're measuring things, if you don't, have like a consistent way of querying data and making it useful, you're kind of jumping the gun if you're, just immediately starting to think of like, how am I going to like throw AI into this equation?
Great wisdom. All right, so shall we move on to the next question, Ella?
Yeah.
We could literally talk about this for all day, but we're not. We're going to keep going because we got like 4 or 5 questions.
Stefan, I love that you brought up Moltbook and Moltbot. That was amazing. I
love it.
I love that you brought that up. For those of you who don't know what that is, just Google it, and we shouldn't maybe spend too much time talking about it. But boy,
before we leave this, small companies. Let me tell you, small company, a 3-person electric company. They go out, they run wire, they dig holes, they lay wire, and yada yada. They're using AI. Is AI running that? No. But they're using AI. Why? Because they want to grow their business. And if you'd like to know more about that, give me a call. Because yes, I am not a tech guy. I just know how to use. I know I can use it or get run over. I'm not going to get run.
Great point.
Three-person electric company, 3 people
Mm-hmm.
using
love it.
AI. Okay.
All right.
Absolutely.
Very
Well,
well
you know,
said.
it's
Thank
about
you so much for
capacity.
that.
Sorry, Ella. Keep going. I know.
No,
Question number
it's
two.
okay.
I'm shut up.
All right. So let's move on to our question number 2. What leadership capabilities matter most now that AI is no longer experimental? So, John, would you like to kick us off with that?
Yes.
Where it's no longer experimental. Um,
Yeah.
Give me that question one more time, please. Because
Yeah.
Sure. hmm What leadership capabilities matter most now that AI is no longer experimental?
well, every leader out there, you have to do something every day. You've got to make decisions every day. What do you make decisions based off of? Data. Where did you get your data? Do you have it? Are you sure about it? Do you trust it? I'm telling you,
Mhm.
AI will help you with that. It will help you with your ability to make decisions quickly. Um, uh, can mean that the difference of, hey, you just closed $1 million deal or you didn't.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that's the difference for CEOs, for people that I work with. These are the things they think about every day. These are the things that keep them up at night. Is my data good? Do I trust it?
Mm.
And,
Absolutely. Can I jump in
and
on this?
go
Mm.
right ahead.
Mhm. Yeah. So I think for it depends on where you are in the stack, right? Maybe the smaller your business, AI is experimental. You're still experimenting with, Claude or Copilot or whatever it is that you've decided to play with. But I think that what matters is, again, like I said, the mindset. So for my company, I was zero AI, right? I was a zero AI CEO. Like I would honestly 5 or 6 months ago, I was like, nope, 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 and super skeptical. Everyone's talking about it. I serve tech companies. I have the joy of working with, DJ and Adam and Stefan. And so I'm hearing these guys, super brainiac guys that are like, oh yeah, this, that, and the other with AI. And so I was still like, nope, nope, nope. Um, but then I went to a big conference, this Microsoft 365 community conference, and I saw what they were talking about. It's so well done, right there. They got the big stages, and the executives are out there, and they got the lights and stuff. It's like a rock concert, and then it's like, I got so inspired. So I thought, you know what? We use Microsoft 365, so let me try it. And I'm not kidding you guys. Like I went and tried it, and suddenly it was like a light bulb went off. And again, right? People might be like, "Girl, you late and you stupid," right? It's fine, because the tortoise still won the race, right? So it doesn't matter where you're starting out. But back to my story. So we started using it, and it helped us to be more efficient. So like what John said, the smaller the company, the more that AI gives you the thing that's most precious to you, and that's time, right? The smaller your company, 3-person electricity company, or 20-person IT company, or 25-person agency, or whatever it is, you still wear 14 different hats, right? You're the CEO, or you're CTO, you're the CIO, you got 14 different jobs. And so AI actually allows you to get all those jobs done, do them well, because that's really important, right? I don't know how many of us had situations where you're rushing or you don't have enough time and you have to either make trade-offs in quality or what have you. So now you've got the perfect assistant that helps you to get more things done in less time, do them better. And then the thing that I find every day, my team finds new ways to use it. We're reimagining how we use like really basic AI tools so that now we're ready to do what DJ and Adam and Stefan were saying is like, hey, now I have this whole vision. I want to do this. I want an autonomous agent that's going to do that. And right. And so we actually have a plan, an ROI, and a budget. But it actually starts like super small. And I always say like romper room. I don't know. I'm aging myself because these young chaps on here, you might not know romper room, but us older folks, that's like a program. I think it's called Word Party, right, on Amazon or Netflix or whatever. I have very young children, even though I'm a very old woman. And so, like for something for little kids, you start off really small. Well, that's where I would recommend anybody who's involved in this. You just start at the smallest, absolute smallest level. And, I'm not talking about playing around with it or, playing around with funny images or whatever, like you see, the selfie videos that are AI created. Hilarious, right? No, we're talking about actual real business value. Like, start with your staff. Like Stefan said, start at the bottom. The people who are using it, the people that are doing jobs, like, go through a process to make them comfortable, build trust, where they feel they have confidence that, like, yeah, this is actually going to help me do my job and do it a little bit better, a little bit faster. It's going to give me some insight. And now I can make better decisions. And you start with those guys and you see how that transforms how they do work and they start to reimagine processes. Then now you've got what you need as a leader to have that real strategic insight. Like, okay, I can see how these pieces can fit together. Because the opportunities for everybody, like, look, yes, industries are going to change. We saw it when the internet wasn't DARPANET, right? I mean, I don't know if all y'all fools are old enough, but I was getting out of university at
I
the
was really
time,
young, but it's okay.
Yeah. Right, but like they're in the 90s, like that seemed like it was yesterday for me. A lot of people that I know weren't even born in the 90s, right? But in the 90s, I did a study on this. 1998, only 40% of the Fortune 5000 had a website. Can you believe that, people?
Yep.
1998, so like 30 years ago, right? And it's hard to wrap your head around it that 30 years ago the average enterprise did not have a website. Google Analytics didn't exist, and there was something called Web Trends, I think, and that was like groundbreaking for them, where they could literally see, I see how many people came to my website, right? And just think of the journey that we took in 30 years. And so I've seen it with internet. I saw it with cloud. I've seen it with software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, right? We've seen all these changes. And so AI is the next evolution. Now, it's not going to take 30 years to transform industries, right? Like, look what happened with the internet and with cloud. It transformed whole industries and how we do things. AI is moving a lot faster, but we don't have to rush. That's what I always tell people. Don't rush. Don't be like, oh, I'm late. Right? Don't rush. Be strategic, baby. Take a breath. And like what these guys have said, where do I start? You can start all the way at the bottom. You can start with yourself. You can start with your greatest idea. Like, this AI stuff is literally like, you're going to be Iron Man, and it's the thing that'll literally help you accomplish that one big idea that you had that wasn't actually really possible maybe
There's just
last
one
year.
thing I could add to
Yeah.
that. I
Please
completely
do.
agree. And I would say two things. You're not late. I mean, this stuff
Thank
is
you.
advancing so quickly. And I feel like it's been really just since the end of last year that these tools,
That's right.
both the models themselves and the products that have been built on top of them, are reaching a level of reliability where you can actually really start to depend on them. But you need to start. Like, now is when things are really going to start accelerating in 2026. They've already been going fast, but I think there's been a lot of progress sort of on the research side, and now in terms of like how it proliferates through the economy and how businesses change how they do business. That's what you're going to start to see take shape in 2026. And again, you want to have that bias towards action. Don't be caught flat-footed. Work with some any of us on this call, and let us help you figure that process out. And with humility, no one has all the answers, right? This is new technology. We are all figuring it out as we go. But that being said, this is our job on the call to figure out like what that looks like. And yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
I think it's funny that you say you're not late, because I feel like if you were to talk to any of the technology companies,
They'd be like,
IBM
you
and
are.
Google and Microsoft, they're going to tell you you're late. But no, you're not late, I think. If I could put some more spice onto that, I think 2024 and 25 were the years of the productivity enhancers, the co-pilots and the chat GPTs and Claude Code and all that. But I think 25, 26 is going to be the real point in time where you look at agentic AIs.
Yes.
Some of you may say, what's an agentic AI? Well, agentic AI has agency. It helps you complete a task, or it does the whole task autonomously. Let me give you a quick example. Say you're a bank, and I want to create an AI bot that'll help a customer open up a checking account. There's very defined steps in a checking account opening process to do that, right? Yeah. Collect their name, collect their social security number, maybe collect the video or a picture of their passport or their ID, and then you do some checks and you do this and that. But not only that, you got to make sure this AI doesn't go off the rails. It has to have guardrails attached to it. You can't sit there and say, all right, I'm going to stick my kid's homework in here and see if it'll give me the answers. No, if you start doing that, you got to be like, hey, listen, I can only help you open a check account. That's it. That's all we're doing here. So agentic AIs, I think, are the next step. But again, Nico, just back to your point, if you haven't gotten even to a productivity enhancer yet, it's not too late. Yeah, you pick one.
Start.
And to your point too, Stefan, we are so early in this AI thing. I want you to not get don't let strategy derail you, right? So that means is, okay, I picked IBM's Watson X for my first AI project. What should I do for my second one? Well, you can consider Watson X, but if something else comes along that works for you better, potentially use that one. All right. As long again as it ROIs. And you folks, Adam, Stefan, you might disagree with me. I'm sort of hoping you will, but I feel that's a
We're
good
violent in
strategy for most
agreement.
companies. As long as ROIs, as long as ROIs, I think we're good. So what do you guys think?
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you 100%. And so, I just, the question that was previously asked, what leadership capabilities matter the most. And right now, if you look at it as a leader, I think this kind of sums up a lot of the different parts of the conversation. As a leader, your job is to understand the change in the market or the change in direction of the company. Look at what's out there, listen to your team, listen to your people, and figure out how to best navigate that change. And AI is one of the best tools to help you get there. And like what I think everybody said here is start small and just figure out what little incremental change you can do. And that's where you're going to add the value, no matter where you are in the organization. If you're a frontline manager talking to your team, or if you're a mid-level talking to other leaders, this technology transition is here. So
I love it.
And I think the one other thing that I would add, and I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but a lot of it comes back to the data, even before you get to the AI, because something that you heard a lot in the first couple of years of this technology was prompt engineering, right? Like, how do we basically come up with the exact wording or prose to get the best utility from these machines? And the truth is, like, there's so much progress that's been done where you don't have to figure out exactly how to word everything the perfect way anymore. And now what you're hearing a lot more of is like this idea of context engineering, where it's more about like what data does it have? Is the data correct? Is it validated? Again, can you trust it? All of that stuff. And so, I mean, I think agentic AI is 100% a lot of what we've seen transform businesses and certainly like how programmers work day to day in 2025. But I think you're going to see a lot more of that autonomy spreading to other parts of the business in 2026 and beyond, but it all starts with the data, right? If it doesn't have good data, it can't make good decisions on your behalf.
Yeah. That takes us to question number 3, which is about data.
Okay.
Perfect. I love it. I
You're
love
a witness, Stefan.
So where does cross-organization alignment break down?
No, let's go to number 4. I'm sorry.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I want to ask the question about data readiness. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what does data readiness actually mean in 2026 beyond having data lakes and dashboards?
Yeah. Who wants to
would like
tackle
to
that
take
one?
that
Do you have an hour?
Can I start? I'm gonna start because I'm gonna talk about the like ultra small business, right? Like back to John's example of like a 3-person, electrician firm. So like the smaller your company, the less likely you have structured data. Like, your ideas are in your brain and your processes are in your staff, how they learn how to do stuff. Maybe you wrote it on a paper. Right? Because you don't have time to do what big companies do, and they have process and protocol and SOPs and documentation, right? Who have time for that? Like I can barely, go for a walk with my kid or whatever, right? So the smaller that you are, then that's where you can use AI to like create that written fact base. And some of this stuff right now is so cool. Like you could just talk to and be like, "Hey, Sophia," like my AI, I call it Keisha, right? So I'll be like, "Girl, how you doing today?" She's like, "I'll be good," right? And so then you can just talk to it and say, "Okay, hey, here's what's in my mind. Here's a plan. Help me make a plan. Here's what I want to do." And you use that in exercise as an opportunity to document things that weren't previously documented. So why do I bring that up? Because it actually flows into this motion of data readiness. If your intellectual property is really not well organized and is definitely not documented, right? You don't have written language to describe those things. Well, then AI is not going to help you real good from my experience. And I would love for these experts to say that. But so far, it's like that's why it's called an LLM. That stands for large language model, so that it's not video, it's not audio, it's words. So it, you got to actually convert all that intelligence and that IP into words if it's not in that. And then it goes even further, like all those interconnections, the context, how those things connect actually have to be mapped out so that it can, take advantage of it. Now it'll figure stuff out. I'm learning, all right? I'm discovering, but it only goes so far. And that's when you run into problems when it's not well mapped out by the human.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
then the technology be like, I'm gonna just make some stuff up because y'all fools don't know what you're doing, so I'm gonna just fix it for you, right? And then that's where you get into the friction. So gentlemen, talk to me. So as you go up the stack, like what does data readiness look like?
Well, maybe I could start here real quick here, guys. I think first of all, your business is your data. End of story,
Yeah.
period, right?
Yeah.
You are valuable because of your data.
Mhm.
In order for you to extract value out of AI needs your data. No way
Yeah.
of ands or buts about it. There's lots of ways to do it. We could talk about vectorizing your data and various different data structures. That's boring talk. Potentially, we should stick to the business side of things, right? So I would say, in general, though, as you're ingesting data into an AI, the more structured it is, I think the easier and faster you're going to ROI that AI application. I've worked with quite a few companies with just data all over the place, and we spend so much time cleaning it up. I think as you're doing a design thinking session, back to some of these ideas before you do a proof of concept, potentially pick something that doesn't need so much cleanup. Look for data that's neatly organized already. You can gain a lot more insights and value out of that much faster than you could if you have to do some other strategy. Remember also that this AI thing we're doing, this is a journey. This is not a destination, right? You will put together an AI application and solution day one, and it will morph and change over time. And if it doesn't, you did something wrong. So
Yeah.
how's that? Adam, Stefan, what do you think?
That's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you nailed it. The other thing on data readiness, I definitely want to bring up a big elephant in the room is security. So making sure that it's following your
Yes.
security policy. So it's great to have it organized, but you got to make sure you know who's accessing it, who can access it, and if you have that level of governance in place. And those are some good conversations to have.
Yeah.
But
The other thing that I
So
would
so
add
talk to me
here,
about that. I mean, is like Claude and Chatbot and Gemini, are they secure platforms? Because I thought, what IBM's Watson X was like, this is enterprise grade, and Microsoft makes the whole governance and security conversation. But is that like, is it all table stakes? Do they all do it, or is there really a difference between some of these platforms? If we take a minute and look at some of the tech,
there's
what do you guys
definitely
think?
a difference between all the different platforms, and you got to understand where you're going to use it, who's using it, and that's kind of where you're trying to figure out, like, again, all the different tools and what's the use cases and what you're trying to solve for. There are a lot of different security implications with different ones. There are also a lot of tools out there. For example, if you're using a bigger LLM like Claude to actually classify and protect your data and keep it from going into their model, so that's a pretty loaded conversation. I know DJ is pretty deep in that.
a lot of it depends on what industry you're in. If you're in a regulated industry, for example, like
can't do
health
some
or
of
law, there's a good chance that you don't even have the option to just use an off-the-shelf solution like Claude or Gemini, right?
Interesting. Interesting.
That being said, like there are ways that you can actually maintain a certain level of data provenance and still get to use some of these frontier models using platforms like Amazon Bedrock or Vertex within Google. So the answer is it depends. And I think going back to like the data readiness question, it also depends a lot on like the size of the business and sort of your level of maturity within the data space, right? Because a lot of businesses, they don't have the problem yet where what they're dealing with is like Sam over in the body shop, like they do everything like on like notepads, and they don't have a CRM, they don't have like an ERP, they don't have any of this stuff, right? And so I think a lot of the data readiness problems that businesses deal with is really more about the siloing of data, not so much the data itself. Now, when you get to the data itself, something that you're seeing within the industry a lot right now is a focus on semantic models, right? Like actually being able to not only make sure that you have like one team, one number is what we used to say when I was a Postmates data engineering team. But also how do you operationalize that data and creating those systems whereby everyone understands how are we actually measuring all of these things, but then again building that sort of infrastructure, that platform infrastructure to make those semantic that semantic data available to LLMs, that's what's going to allow you to do really interesting things, right? I think the goal with, for example, one of our clients, they need help automating their CRM, right? And so like they're using a combination of things like Seamless and Go High Level. And so again, what we're doing is we're reimagining the interface for them, where they're no longer like clicking around and like, all these different UIs. They just say in natural language, hey, I'm looking to target, people within the law, that live within this geographic
legal
area and, have like this number of revenue annually. And it's going to figure out like what parameters do I need to send to each of these like APIs for, Seamless, for example, and then they can go in and edit it. But again, all that comes from the fact that the information that they're looking for is made available via APIs. It's not siloed. And they also have like a trove of data that, we can leverage that already exists, that's been operationalized through, specifically we're using Malloy, but again, that gets into technical stuff, it doesn't matter. The overall goal is basically what I said. It depends on the size of the company, how mature you are, and it's just that.
That's awesome.
I like that stuff. And I want to touch on something that Adam and Nico were kind of leading me down this road a little bit. There's so many ways to deploy AI out there. And I
Hey
just
guys,
want to say something.
just the time check.
shocking.
1 more minute for this question before we move on to the next
I'll
one.
be very brief then. Very brief.
Please, yes, thank you.
So there's a lot of these platforms out there that you can deploy. You can deploy Google, you can deploy on IBM, you can deploy on AWS. You can probably hear in my voice there, folks out there. I spend a lot of time in the IBM ecosystem. Well, one of the reasons I like IBM and also another platform called Neuralseek is because I can deploy it on any cloud I want, which is very powerful. A lot of folks like that. They might want it on Google, they might want it on IBM. But it also has a other cool trick up its sleeve, is that I can deploy it on-prem. And here's the shocking part, is that a lot of you folks are probably thinking, who's doing AI on-prem? And I'll tell you, not many of my customers right now, but I think 50% of them, that's a lot, are looking to do it for 2026, 2027. Why? Cloud is sometimes hard when all your data is on-prem, A, and B, the cost of cloud goes up and down and left and right. And when you scribble one check for a 5-year investment on-prem, it's a little bit easier to take, right? So lots of ways to skin this cat. So.
You just made a great point. So I think we got time for one more question. So Ella, your lady's choice.
Yes. Thank you, Nico. Where does cross-organization alignment break down when companies try to scale AI? Adam and Stefan, would you like to take that question?
Sure. I guess one of the biggest things is governance. That's an easy way to kind of break down, do finance people need access to the same data as an IT person? Those like sorts of things. But I think from like a high level, is it just goes back to what's the purpose of the AI? If you're going to use it cross-functionally, are you aligned on what the goal is for that cross-functional team? And does everybody have the right level of access to the right data? And is that model trained to be in that situation? So,
I completely agree with what Adam's saying. I feel like you could completely take out AI from that sentence, and it would be the same answer, right? If you just replace it with technology, it's pretty much always going to be a matter of like getting everybody aligned and understanding, again, like who has buy-in, who's responsible for what does success look like. All the typical things that you need to understand how to adopt technology within the company and make it successful. It applies to AI the same way.
Yeah, I think that's a good one for John to jump in on that one. As an organization leader.
Alignment breaks at the seams. It's between departments, because and it will be even faster because AI will force AI workflows cross boundaries. And that it's faster. It's faster than accountability. It's faster than people being accountable. So I see the same pattern. IT owns the tool. The business owns the outcome. The data sits in another function. So where is it? And no one owns the end to end. So when something breaks, what happens? Everybody points that way. That's why you have to have one person responsible for the end to end. One person responsible. I'm not talking AI technicalities. I'm talking AI is going to speed everything up. Bad data is AI is going to have that bad data all over the damn place really fast. That's you.
Yeah.
That's you.
No, you're
Okay,
true. Yeah.
you're the CEO. You're the responsible leader. Remember, well, every good CEO, you should know this. Hopefully, this is news to you. Where does alignment break down? It breaks down at the seam.
That's right.
That's where it breaks down. IT folks are always scratching their heads trying to serve everybody because the two departments don't even talk to each other. Their alignment's already screwed up. Okay, AI can't fix what's already screwed up. So this is leaders beware. You know where you break down.
Yeah, if I could add one thing to
AI
this.
is going to magnify that if you're not careful.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
John, you said a really important thing there. You talked about accountability, right? And especially now as we move into like this agentic world where we're giving AI tools and it's going to do things on our behalf, you're still responsible. The buck doesn't stop with the AI agent. It stops with a human being, right? So, for example, and I'm demonstrating how
Correct.
too online I am, but there was a Hacker News post that went viral in the past couple of days, and it was because someone had submitted a pull request using their OpenClaw AI bot, and it got rejected by the human being, and then the bot went and created a blog post about this guy that was a hit piece, right? And so
Oh my gosh.
the blog post that went viral was this guy saying like, AI wrote a hit piece on me. AI did not write a hit piece on you. Some human being clicked around somewhere and like launched an AI button that did this. And so the reason that I bring this up is because, again, we're moving into this space where companies are going to start giving more and more autonomy, more agency to these tools, but the buck stops not with the AI, but with human beings. And so you have to understand, you have to make sure you have like the right guardrails. For example, it was, I forget like which airline it was, but they had launched a chatbot on their website, and someone got the chatbot to say they're going to get a full refund for their flight and then some. And, the judge ruled in the person's favor.
Wow.
It was not intended. But again, if we're going to be giving these AI agents more and more autonomy over our business, we have to have the right guardrails in place, and we have to understand what does the chain of accountability look like.
Couldn't agree more.
That's a good point, Seven. I'd like to add this idea of data gaps. After you build your first AI application, it's usually built for a certain personality in your enterprise, right? And I'll tell you, the exact next step that almost everybody wants to do is expand that usage to another personality. So maybe it's great for engineers, but not so great for business analysts. Maybe the reason why is the data gap, because it's not trained or it doesn't have the data available to it. So that's a very business casey reason why AI may not scale great. There are technical reasons though too, like the storage footprint that you're using or your data lakes is not a content aware storage footprint. That's very bad, because I want to, as soon as I ingest data, I want to make it available to the LLMs via vectorized databases and whatnot. That's the holy grail. I want real-time data right now. I don't want to wait for it to ingest for 2-3 days. So that's a big deal. KV cache is something that came on the scene last year. It's a big deal. It's the whole reason that AIs can understand their previous conversations that they were having with users, with having to re-tokenize everything and get back to the same state or a similar state. KV cache eliminates that. If you're not doing that in 2026, that's table stakes. You're never going to scale your AI. That's a technical reason. So there you go. Business reason, technical reason, lots of pitfalls. Folks like Stefan, Adam, myself, and of course John can help you understand where you're stepping and where not to step.
Yep. For sure. Yep. And then we're just ready to wrap up. I just want to leave one more thought to everybody is, and DJ, you pointed on it, is that, as you're getting that momentum and you're thinking about how you're going to adopt these solutions, number one, what did we talk about today? You're not late. You might feel like it, and, you're being surrounded by all kind of, rage bait and clickbait to say, oh, you're late and you need to change your jobs. You're not late, but you do have to take action, and it really is an opportunity for you to explore, to discover, to learn, to research, and to collaborate. help getting an expert to help you is probably a really good place to start. But what just being here and paying attention to this is going to get you a little bit further down the path to start to think about, well, how is this going to help my business or my job or my role? So that's really important. And then when you do have an AI idea, find a buddy, right? DJ, you're the one who said, yeah, when I had the IT guy and the business person, or the IT person and the business person get together, then they made magic happen,
It was
right?
awesome. Yeah.
So that's kind of, don't go it alone, right? Grab a buddy. That gives you an opportunity to bounce ideas off of each other, and you'll definitely be much more successful, because really, I think, unlike with internet and cloud, those things did transform industries, they transformed business operations, they transformed a lot. They transformed the society, actually. But AI actually has an opportunity to reimagine, right? You have an opportunity to actually redesign how you make decisions, redesign how you do things, redesign how you interact and network. So use it, right? Don't just go, oh, I'm gonna do stuff faster. Like, maybe use it as an opportunity to be like, I'm gonna actually do something totally different, baby, right? And do something completely different. So there you go. Guys, thank you so much. Ella, do you want to end us for right now?
Yes, absolutely. Well, to everyone watching on the live stream, thank you so much for joining us today. If you haven't registered to this event yet, please visit btechly.com to register. And of course, you can always schedule a one-on-one discussion with, our team will also follow up with everyone who registered. And make sure that you joined us using the link provided in your calendar invite so you could stay for the Q&A with the expert panel. Bring whatever questions you want to have answered: implementation, scale, strategy, ROI creation, what have you. Nico at Change 3, Adam and Stefan at HBAR, DJ at Mapsys actually will be on will be on for another 15 minutes to answer your questions. So wrapping up the stream right now. Bye.
Awesome.